got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And the security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, it's beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
All right, well, welcome to the Comedy Think Tanked podcast. Another episode. We had a great young guest, probably our youngest guest thus far.
Yes, definitely.
Zach Valencia.
He's 22
at the time of recording. It's possible.
Is that another jab at me for taking so long
No,
edit these podcasts?
Not per se.
I have a day job, Nick.
And so do I.
Okay.
But, you know, if we don't want to have a day job someday, we really got to buckle down on this.
Yeah.
This is the claim to fame.
The podcast.
The podcast.
CTTP.
CTTP, which is just as bad as Think Taint.
I think you said it wrong that time.
No, I did, but I'm saying, like, when you say TP, you can say taint, and if you say it all the way out, and if you make it an acronym, CTTP, you're saying TP.
Oh, it's like Beavis and Butt-Head.
Yeah, right.
Got it.
Yeah, TP. Yeah. No, we had a very, very nice guest.
I wish.
Yeah, I know.
I wish this was a video podcast so all our listeners could see the look you just gave me.
Well, it wasn't intentional, but it is an automatic response. Leonard, what are you drinking?
What makes you think that I've been drinking?
Because you've been in since 1:30, you said.
Yeah, I had the double bock.
Bock.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's called Sublime or something like that.
Okay.
Here at CBU.
I have an Ace pineapple cider. Ace is the brand, I guess.
Ace is the home for the
Helpful Hardware, folks.
man. Oh, folks, yeah.
Yeah. They are not a sponsor.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
We'll
but that's all
edit
right.
that out.
That's all right. What do you think, Leonard, about being 22 years old? That's
When I was 22, oh my God, what was I doing when I was 22? I was, actually, I was still in college.
okay. Yeah.
Because I dropped out for a little while.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't a drinker at 22.
Oh,
I
interesting.
didn't have my driver's license either.
You didn't?
No.
Product of growing up in Chicago?
Yeah, and then I was in Boston, Cambridge, MIT.
Yeah,
and
you
so
really
I
didn't need
I didn't need a car.
Yeah. How did you get from Chicago to Boston?
A plane.
Spoiler alert.
There's that look again.
They had planes back then?
Yes.
Because we are so old. No, okay, then no, that makes sense. So you were 22. You were still in college. When I was 22, I was still in college. I was still trying to figure out I mean, I was several years from finishing because I still was not really sure what I wanted to finish with.
Okay.
Yeah. So 22 was an interesting age. I had already thought about doing comedy at 22.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I really wish I had. Because then I would have quit by now. So
Cool.
Justin Pelletier
Hey,
has
Justin
just
Pelletier.
walked in on our intro to our podcast. Good to see you, Justin. Good. I'm good. How are you?
You have to speak out loud. Otherwise, the mic.
This
the mic won't
is
pick you up.
Leonard Kimball. Do you know Leonard?
I'm from here.
Okay, cool.
Now I can speak out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. All right. Good. Excellent. Are you hanging around?
I'm hanging around. I'm here for 3 weeks.
All right. Cool.
3 whole weeks.
All right. Interesting. Would you want to be a guest on a podcast?
No.
Okay. Cool.
But I will if you need me.
Well, it's a comedy podcast, so I didn't know.
But absolutely not.
All right. Cool.
I'm not funny.
That's all right.
You make me funny.
I could. We may. You never know. You're kind of a local celebrity.
Used to be.
It used to be. Well,
I'm a local Raleigh celebrity.
Yeah, that's true. Which would be fun to talk.
Celebrity thing?
No, I don't think anyone he knows where it is.
Scotty McCreery knows where it is.
That's true. That's true. We'll be done shortly, and we'll come have a beer.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Excellent. Good to see you. Justin Pelletier of the Sun Journal Sports Department.
Yeah.
He was
Formerly
of the Sun Journal Sports Department editor, and now in Raleigh, one of the Carolinas.
I was going to say Raleigh, North Carolina.
Is it north or south? I'm not sure.
North sounds right.
North sounds right.
Yeah.
He just dropped by on the pod. You never know what's going to happen, man.
You never
On
know.
the pod. But when you were young, you didn't realize that things like that could just happen. And you might not be able to roll with the punches as a young 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to my story.
Good segue.
Yeah, thank you. I was 22 and I thought about doing comedy. I really wanted to do comedy. Comedy Connection in Portland was open, and I wanted to try it, but I didn't know how to get into it. And it was one of those things like I want to do this. I feel like I should do this, and it was in my body, in my soul, in my mind to like get out there and try it. But I had no idea where to start, and I didn't do it, and I regret it. And I'm so happy that people like Zach, who are young and interested in comedy, are getting out and having a chance to do it. It helps that he's living in Boston area and whatnot. But
Right.
That was me at 22, and I don't know.
Do you think like you would have like so you joked that you would have stopped by now, but
Yeah,
do you think you'd be in a different point in your career or a different direction? I mean, right now, like
I would love to think if I had started at 22. Now that's 20 years ago. I'm 42, and
Yeah.
I started comedy when I was 34 or 5.
okay,
So I've done it for 7 or 8 years, and so 16 years previous to that, if I had started doing it when I was 22, I would like to think that I would have been able to get some spots and whatnot in different places, and try to get into the Boston scene or the New York scene or the LA scene at some point. But I was also stupid and had a girlfriend and and hadn't finished college yet and all those silly things. So I don't know where I would be, because we know some comedians that are older now that that they're kind of still clinging to it all, and I don't know when they started necessarily, but it's sometimes kind of sad to watch. Like they don't have any real, like they're not big time comedians,
right?
And they're still just doing the same thing we're doing, and we have full-time jobs that require us to get a paycheck every now and again that is worthy of spending on home and car and whatnot. I don't know. I'm going to.
I think if I started when I was younger, yeah, maybe I'd be a lot like better on stage. I mean, it's only been 4 years for me, but yeah, I have 20 years of experience on stage. That'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
But I like producing more. I like booking, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I think like my 4 to 24 minutes I spend hosting a show.
Yeah.
Might be more polished.
Yeah.
And maybe I travel more. But it's fun. It's so much fun to do.
Right.
I'm not sure I would have thought like, oh, I'm going to make a career out of this.
Right.
But it's like it's something I'd be a lot better at now.
And therefore, you could potentially make a career out of it if you had started earlier. And I don't know.
Maybe.
It's just one of those things. I don't know. I think anytime you pick something up when you're in your early stage of adulthood and you love it and you want to stick with it and you work at it,
Yeah.
eventually you're going to become what it is that you want to become in it. Now, maybe you're not going to be the most famous comedian ever or the most wealthiest musician or whatever. But I mean, whatever it is you pick up when you're that age, if you say like, I'm going to med school, I'm going to be a doctor. 20 years later, you're probably going to be a doctor.
Yeah, chances are.
you know. So if you're 22 and you say, I'm going to be a comedian, 20 years later, I'd like to think you are a comedian. You know, and you're at least able to go and do an hour or have an album out or be a headliner for a weekend at a comedy club. If that's really what you wanted to be and what you wanted to do, I don't see why you couldn't be there.
Yeah.
So I think age is something to consider. Like 20 years from now, when we're in our 60s, what are the chances that we're going to be that person that we want to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's relative. I think it's...
Yeah, I think it's just the person that I want to be has changed because of when I started doing comedy.
Yep.
If I started at 20, maybe I would have different aspirations.
Yep.
Oh, since I started in my 40s, I'm like, oh, I just want to be that guy that people think are funny.
And the guy that helps bring other comedians.
Right. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to have some sort of comedy club somewhere.
Yeah.
And people ask me for spots, and I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Let me see what you got. Oh, that's cool. That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, great. Come be on one of my shows.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I love that about you because I'm torn between those two things.
Yeah.
I would really love to be that guy and be happy with that. I also really do want more spots and more opportunities elsewhere and to continue to write new material and, be known as a comedian first. So I'm a little upset that I didn't start earlier, but at the same time, it is what it is. You can't change the past.
Mm-hmm.
You can only work towards the future. Yeah. I think Zach is working towards a funny future for himself.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be able to say like, oh, if Zach makes it.
Oh yeah.
Or any of these other people who have done comedy at one of our shows that we booked.
Yeah.
And they're 20 something and they're 32 and they're like, oh, and then suddenly we're like, oh my God, that guy has a Netflix special.
Yeah.
Or that girl was on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wait, I gave them
an opportunity.
at our show.
As small as it may have been.
Yeah. I remember when I Venmoed that person $12.50.
Or even better, they're a friend of ours.
Yeah.
And then we get to have free tickets.
Me in the crowd. I know her.
I know that person. I'm from Maine.
Yeah. I gave her notes on that joke.
And then they can say, no, they didn't. I don't know that person. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's fun. I really do love comedy, and I really do love talking to people and people in this context. I don't like talking to normal people. Comedians. I'll talk to comedians all day long.
Okay.
And random, people from the newspaper who just show up.
Yeah, sports writers.
Sports writers, yeah.
Yep.
So, anyway. Who do we interview? No, just kidding. All right, guys. Here's Zach Valencia. Hey, all right, guys. Here we are, Comedy Think Tank podcast, meeting up with our good friend from the Boston area, Zach Valencia, a young comedian who apparently doesn't know what time it is.
Yeah, definitely. We're not good with time down there in Boston. You think with all the traffic in Boston, you'd be able to plan stuff out? No, I still.
Were you
can't
coming
get
right
here.
from the city? Is that?
I live a little bit outside the city, about a half hour outside of it. So I just hopped right on 495 and I rode that for about 100. What felt like 1,000 miles, probably 100 miles.
We are up here a little ways.
I was going to say, it seems pretty simple then how to get here, but
this is a straight shot.
Yeah.
Straight shot of just like slowly stuff disappearing around you in just trees. So.
What's that?
fun.
Oh, that's a tree.
Yeah, buildings get replaced by
exciting,
pine
though.
trees.
There's a feeling of like adventure to it. So
Did you grow up down there in Massachusetts?
I did. I'm from Norfolk, Mass, which is like, if people are familiar, it's right next to Foxborough.
Oh, nice.
So like down the street from Gillette, and I'm in Rentham, which is the same sort of area now.
Okay, not too bad.
So it's not bad. Half hour from Boston or
Yeah,
so.
a lot going on down there.
Yeah,
for young people and whatnot. It's a nice area. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
No, and I don't. I'm 22, about to be 23 pretty soon. But,
Jesus H. Christ!
I can tell
know.
from his mustache that he's at least 22 years old.
Yeah, I'm really pushing the early peach fuzz. What do they call it? Yeah. I was going to shave, and then I'm like, I have no idea how long it's going to even get here, so I don't think I still came late. I should have just done it on the way.
A year's worth of growth. Is that
Yeah.
It looks good on you.
Yeah, this is capacitated out right now. It's not getting much.
Playoff beard.
Yeah, the full playoff. Like, yeah.
That's funny.
I have visions of one day you guys have like just a nice full beard and look
You'll get
wise.
there. It's
but
another wise. We haven't fooled. We fooled another one.
Yes.
We've been growing these for a little while, and as you get older, it will fill in. It's what the fuck are we even talking about?
Mine doesn't fill in, though.
No, it
Mine is
doesn't?
awful.
Yeah, facial hair is one of those weird things. Like you may get older and you might realize like that's it. That's what we have. That's what we're working with. And it could be a fine look for you. Who knows, really? But
Yeah, it might work out. Keep working on it.
yeah, worst case, I'll just clean shave. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
what a weird way to start off a discussion about comedy, though. Here on the Comedy Think Tank podcast.
So 22, you're our youngest, right? This is our youngest interview.
I would dare say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what got you into comedy? How many years and years ago did you start doing comedy?
I don't know. Like, I floated around a couple times where I tried it once or twice. I watched like a friend for a while, but I'd say when I really was like, okay, I'm going to do this was probably about like a little more than 2 years ago.
Okay.
Not
Or
bad.
like 2 years or like a year and a half before the pandemic. And then now right when the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was when I was really starting to get into it, but it was a good, because I was not good to start. I was.
Well,
I
nobody
don't think,
ever
I don't
is,
think
yeah.
anyone was. But no,
But yeah, you hit that sweet spot of like, oh, I really want to do this, and then the world shut down, and then you had to kind of sit back and take a breath, and you get a chance to think about it though. So now coming out of it though, you do want it, and you realize how much, and I mean that's a good thing, right?
Definitely. Because like I felt like, as everybody, I feel like just felt like, oh, this is a little bit of lost time, and even though I'm like, I wasn't too into it yet, it's just like, oh, it kind of makes you snap back into it a little bit. Like, all right, let's start hitting the open mics.
Yep.
And then I moved out of college too. So like I went to school at UMass Amherst, which is in Western Mass.
Yep.
They actually have more open mics and stuff out there now. But when I was there, they didn't have a lot of stuff going on, maybe 1 or 2 open mics a week.
So somewhere in town or at the college itself?
One of them was in the town right next door, Northampton, and then one was my buddy ran an open mic, but it was just me and him were the only comedians.
That sounds like the ones we run up here.
What do you want to talk about?
No, I don't know.
What do you want to talk about?
It's actually just 2 guys going out to dinner. It's kind of weird.
You're an unplanned dinner guest.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
who's going to be eating dinner with me tonight? I don't know. Whoever signs up.
That's good.
Yeah, sign up sheet for going out to dinner. Everyone gets 5 minutes. You want a mozzarella stick? I'm sorry.
Western Mass definitely had that kind of vibe too. That sort of like, just it's light. A couple people seem into it, but they don't. You know, you can get. It's tougher to get work, and then like some people are just they're just hanging out. Like it's a thing to do. Come and do comedy. Just kind of the hobbyist type people.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
a lot of random pop-ins too. It wasn't like. Definitely not the best place to work, but it was a great place to start because I could just bomb and no one ever saw me or knows.
People probably thought you were one of the better ones because you kept showing up and actually trying, right? And then people would show up at random and be like, wow, this kid's pretty good. But in reality, you were like shit in the bed every time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even back then, even for the room, I was still shit in the bed. Like, it was just, I wasn't like a natural. It took me some bits. So, like, My friend was he was always pretty good, and he had started a little bit before me, so I knew he was going to kind of like pop out, like start doing stuff a little quicker.
Yeah.
But I was enjoying it too, and definitely had some rough times of crowds of college kids at the campus bar, like seeing the microphone being set up, and they'll like comedy out there. They'll like if a professional, no name comes in and performs, they'll be happy for it. But when two random dudes their age just pull out a microphone and start trying to be funny, it's not received well.
Oh, I was going to say they didn't feel any sort of solidarity with you because they look like you. That didn't help you.
No. Okay. They looked at us silly. Like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to have a drink with our friends right now. Some people are doing homework.
You got one group of people doing homework, drinking coffee, another group of people drinking Coors Light until it comes out their pores.
Yeah, on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, exactly.
They had nothing else to do, and so it went rough, but it was a good place to start because you get that out of the way, and then you're like, well, any laugh is better than that.
So. Oh, hell yeah. The first time you heard someone laugh at something you said, were you immediately hooked, intoxicated by that, or?
It was definitely, it's always, everyone knows it is a great feeling,
so
but
cool.
It took me so long to get there that I felt like it almost made it better. I was like, oh my God, like I can do it. I've seen people do it. Like I've been trying. It happened up here. It didn't quite happen in real life yet, but.
When you were in high school, was it something that you aspired to, or were you like in theater, or were you performing, or like in a band, or?
No, like I definitely always loved stand up. Like I would watch it. We'd talk about a couple of my friends. We really liked it. Podcasts we started getting into and stuff like that. But overall, like I had not really considered doing it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to try this. Yeah. And then like I said, I think my friend, he started very much younger. So I started just watching him for a while, just going because he knew I was kind of into it. Yeah. And I think that just helped me go like, all right, maybe I'll try,
Your friend's not like Bo Burnham or something like that.
My friend, he moved to LA. He's still doing comedy, but he's in Los Angeles. Yeah, so he's doing some cool stuff out there, which is exciting.
Cool.
But yeah, so that also helped me kick off because I had started with him. He moves out after college, and I'm like, okay, well, if I really want to start doing this, I got to start going around town, doing some of the local stuff, and so I love coming up here too because it's just brand new crowds.
Yeah, thank you. So how often do you perform now?
It depends on the week. I have 2 part-time jobs, and I work at night. So it can be tough.
Yeah, that interferes with comedy.
Definitely interferes with comedy. But any night I have off, I try to do it. So it's usually like 3 to 4 on a good week, 1 or 2 on a bad week. So I'm trying to get up there a lot.
Nice, good.
The different jobs kind of leave me somewhat free because there might be 4 days they don't need me, and
flexibility.
Yeah, that can help. Where I'm like, okay, I'll just get it out, and then got to work all weekend and take time off. Like, luckily, comedy bookings happen decently amount in advance, and I can ask for a night. Like, hey, I need this night off, but I'll work this night instead. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you go? Do you go into Boston now, or are you traveling like into New York or Connecticut? Are you venturing as many places as you can go to find spots, or are you staying local?
A little bit. Like, I try to stay mainly local, but I live in a good location where Boston's like, with traffic, 45 minutes. Yeah. Providence is like a half hour, even a little shorter.
Right.
And then Worcester has a small scene too. And it's like they have some really good rooms for open mics there too. So sweet. I kind of bounce around. So I'm kind of hitting them all, but Providence, Worcester's a little easier to get to. Boston can get expensive parking and all that.
Yeah. And do you find it's easier to get on stage in Worcester or Providence, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit easier. Boston, they just got all those colleges. You got a bunch of young people, bunch of older people, bunch of veterans, bunch of people who've been in it for a while, like kind of filling up spots. Right. And it leaves only a few left for some younger guys. So it's good to get out there and do Providence and Worcester because they have a lot of stuff open and smaller scenes, but still good. Still good shows being run and stuff.
Excellent. Excellent.
And so what's your process for writing? Like, how do you actually approach writing your stand-up?
A lot of the times, some sort of an idea will come to me. I don't usually sit down and say I'm going to write something about this topic specifically. Okay. Unless maybe it's more of a story, like something that happened rather than an idea. Maybe I can be like, oh well, I can definitely get something out of that. But for the most part, like some like half idea will come to me, and I love one-liner comedians, but I'm not one of them. I write too long. Yeah. I try to think of everything I can, and then like just cut, because I can never decide what I want. And that's why I respect one-liners, because like I can't do it.
Oh, can you imagine just sitting down and like firing off 50 of those things in a writing session? Like what kind of mind works that way?
It's crazy, but it helps a lot. Like especially when you're starting out, like bars, loud bars, like Boston can be tough like that sometimes. Open mics, like if you can just fire off quick jokes, it helps you. But
yeah, for sure.
Then when you got to fill time, you realize you have 1,000 jokes for about 7 minutes.
How the hell am I going to remember all these?
Yeah.
When you do write long form, so to speak, your stories and whatnot, do you find that getting that out of your brain and onto a piece of paper helps you concentrate better on like what the crux of the joke really is? Or
definitely, yeah. Actually, that's a good point, because that's definitely how it is. Because if I like let it sit up in my head for too long, I'll lose it somehow. I'll be like, wasn't I thinking about something yesterday? And I have no idea.
Funny.
Yeah, I swear I'm a genius. I swear, but no. So like, yeah, I feel like if I have something and it like kind of hits me quick, I'm like, let me get this, at least on my notes in my phone, like a couple like something to remind me. Oh yeah, that's where I was going with that. Right. So yeah, I think that's important.
Growing up, being 20, growing up with technology, do you find that it's easier to put something on your phone or to have something digitally on a computer rather than, because like I know for myself at my age, which is a couple of decades older than you, and Leonard too, which is like 3 decades older than both of us, like writing something on a piece of paper feels better. Like I feel like, I've really accomplished something now. But do you get this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you get that sense when you write something in your phone that you're actually doing work?
Yeah, like I feel like I definitely understand like that kind of like you got to like write it down. It's like there's something to that. Like writing in a notebook, you're sitting there, you're whatever, maybe sipping a coffee or something, doing whatever you do, and I don't know.
Feel like a fucking hipster. Or something.
Yeah. You got the notebook, the spot. But personally, for me, I lose stuff. I'm a serial loser, so I'm like I need it in the phone, and like I usually do it right on Google Drive. So worst case, I can go get it on my laptop.
Yeah,
too.
Grandpa.
I'm sorry. Leonard's actually an IT guy. Like he totally agrees with you.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I use OneNote all the time.
Yeah, any of those because it's more. I'm going to lose that notebook and I'm going to forget it or
we've had multiple shows where we go around the room afterwards and someone's left a notebook. Like people leave them, they drive back to Boston, they drive wherever the hell they're from.
Yeah,
it's like we got this notebook of a comedian. I actually thought about doing someone's set one night, and they left it behind at one of our venues, and I was like, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a justification. So
that's the only reason we've gotten funnier over the years.
Yeah, it was just stealing jokes left and right.
Got a big closet back there full of old notebooks. What am I going to do tonight?
Yeah. Just leafing through it. That's funny.
So, like, how much time do you think you like have right now? Like, if someone said you do everything of your good stuff, I guess. Like, how long do you think you can do on a microphone?
I could really, like some of it's more tested than others. Like because you get shorter spots on I'll get shorter spots and run the same 5. And then like some of the other stuff, I've done them at open mics. I've tried them at shows when I've gotten like some longer sets. But I mean, stretching it out, I could do like 25, 30 if I had to, but not all of it. There'd be some heavy lulls like where compared to earlier, like people would tell. They'd like, this isn't quite as finished as what you were saying earlier.
Is that the same guy up there?
Yeah. Is that kind of, you're like, all right. I tip my soft spots are typically 10 to 15. So I'm very comfortable there. And like if 20, I can push and have like mostly pretty solid stuff. It just there might be some fat and stuff that like, all right, you probably
a little crowd work or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Slow it down. Whatever I got to do. But yeah.
Do you do crowd work?
I wouldn't say I do like crowd work, asking people questions, trying to riff off that as much as like I usually like to start a set with something about the room or the crowd or or if it's like if people aren't paying attention, maybe I'll try to rope some people in that way. And like, or if I have like an idea, like whatever my material is going to be, if like I can quickly see something that like engages with the crowd, but then goes right into that bit thing, I'll do that. Like, some last night I did something in Hudson, Mass, and there was 2 guys who they just looked like police officers. They had the police officer look, the shaved head, the whole like just everything about them. So, and I had like a pullover, like material that like getting pulled over thing. So I was like, all right. I was hosting. I was like, I'm gonna quickly just do this thing in between someone. And I kind of roped them in, like, are you guys police? So that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
I don't like I want to be good at it, but I don't do it as much as
How did that go over were they cops?
They were cops. They were actually they were police officers. So it was funny. They just like it was not that hard of a pick. They looked like it, but they were really good guys. They were fun. They were laughing. They were probably the best crowd we had all night. They were the biggest laughers.
Oh, nice,
so,
good.
Cool.
It was fun.
That's fun when you see something and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go for this, and then it does work. It pays off.
Yes.
Like that sends you. I don't know if you're a sports fan or whatever, but like if you have like a good shot in golf. That's why I'm going to golf tomorrow is because I had a good shot today. That's like your good shot in golf when you hit like that.
Exactly, yeah, and because you know what happens if you don't hit it.
Oh yeah, I know
it's
you
like
get
almost
fucked up in the parking lot.
yeah. So that's
Hudson, Mass. Ugh.
Yeah.
What do you know about Hudson, Mass?
I've been there a couple times.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe I went to the wrong part, but.
It's,
None of our listeners are in Hudson, Mass. Anyways, I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Not according to Podbean.
Huh?
Not according to Podbean.
Podbean says differently. All right, sorry, Hudson.
Yeah, it can be tough to get venues in Boston sometimes.
Right.
Just people are wherever people will come out and they'll do it. It's a lot of people running different shows and stuff. So it's like
I want to talk more about running shows and whatnot, and ask you what your experience is with hosting and running shows and that sort of. But I just want to ask one question: did you graduate from college?
So I am.
The father in me is coming out.
Yes. No. I actually have only 2 credits left.
Oh,
so
you piece of shit.
Yeah, you caught me. I can't even lie.
Your mother's listening to this right now.
Yeah,
God damn it!
Well, you're all the way up in Maine when you have 2 credits left, and
you could be studying right now.
Exactly. So no, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I do have 2. Like, I transferred schools, so not all of my credits transferred, and I didn't finish at the same time all my friends did.
Yeah.
I took a few tests. And I have one more, but it has to be a math test, and that is not my specialty. I've had some struggles, and I'm getting but I'm almost there. We're almost there. I just got to take one little test.
If a car leaves Boston at 4 o'clock, trying to get to Maine at 5 o'clock, when will Zach arrive?
Hopefully they don't ask that on the test, because we know from today that I won't pass. It'll be tough.
Just teasing. No, go back and finish that. Do it for your family.
Yeah, I would. I'm gonna knock it off, and it's tough because like after school I kind of treated it like I was done because I was like, I only got.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah.
But I got to get back. I'm gonna take it as soon as I can when it opens up in a couple months and all that stuff.
No,
so
absolutely, that's good. All right, what will your degree be? It's not in math, is it?
God, no. Oh, it's actually it's communication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have one of those too.
Yeah. So I'll make
be
a
a
couple
future
jokes about
podcaster.
it. I'll probably talk about it tonight a little bit.
Okay,
So
okay.
Nice.
It is. Communication's an interesting degree to have. There's some stuff, and there's some. You got to really fight. You got to make it work for yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I have an English degree and a communication degree, and I just have a regular job in an office, and I do this.
Yeah. It's
something I can at least say I have it. But there's some cool theories in communication and whatnot, especially like it applies to comedy, like the sender and the receiver. The theory about like what you're saying as the sender might not be being received by the people that are in the audience the way you are intending it to be sent, and so on and so forth. Yeah. You can see it being applied in the moment in a comedy room. While like this guy over here is laughing, but that guy over there is just looking at you stone faced, and one person understands what you're saying, and the other person doesn't. Kind of like this moment right here, where both of you are just staring at me like, what is this idiot talking about?
Oh yeah, it makes it does
multiple
make sense.
degrees.
I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be fancy pants about it, but I'm just saying like that was one of the things that kind of struck me when I went through that program.
Yeah, it's like that we did. I didn't take as much as that because they also had like media classes and stuff, like film kind of media
cool.
and stuff.
Okay.
So it was like like you could, for at least at my school, there was like multiple parts, and one was definitely like language breaking down, like almost like linguistics type stuff. And my landlord at school was actually a professor in that, and one of my roommates had him, so he's our landlord, like coming over to check on stuff, but he also is like a professor at my school, so it was definitely a little weird. And
That's a strange
the stuff he
situation.
taught.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, I'm trying to think of something off the cuff where he would have knocked on the door and said to you guys, like, but I can't come up with anything else.
Are you getting that paper done?
You're getting that paper done.
It smells like wheat.
It smells like wheat. Yeah. What are you
that a hole in the wall?
Yeah. Well, this window wasn't broken when I was here last week.
So
where's the money? Don't be late for class.
Especially when the Zoom classes hit, so because they can see us in the background. So something's going on in the background. He's like trying to turn his camera off quickly.
Dude, take your phone out right now and write that down. 'Cause that's pretty funny. Actually.
That's good.
Like
All right,
that's a great idea. Like what a weird situation to be in. Like your college professor's also your landlord.
Definitely, definitely wasn't good for us. Like, you don't want faculty knowing what you're doing outside of the school.
Yeah, if you don't show up to class, like they're there at the door. Like he knows right where you live. And
he sees you out playing frisbee and drinking a beer. So.
I'm glad to hear they still do that in college. Playing frisbee, drinking a beer. All right, let's get back to comedy. I believe you mentioned to me last time you were here that you do some show producing, or you work with some producers of shows and whatnot, have you? And obviously, you just mentioned hosting shows.
Yeah. So like I'm right now I'm working with that. We've changed the name a couple, or they have. Like I kind of hopped in. They've been a group for a bit. They were going under the name Practicing Productions. If you guys are familiar,
I think I've seen that on Facebook, and whatnot.
Yeah. And then we just recently brought another guy, and he just happens to have a very cool last name, so they switched it to Iconics. His last name is Iconic.
How can that possibly be?
It's
really?
It's So it's Iconics Productions now.
That's cool.
Okay.
It's like some mainly Massachusetts, a couple just bar shows. We travel mainly Mass, but one or two in Rhode Island, and one up in New Hampshire too.
Anyone else in the group that we would know?
I believe Trevor Dion said he had performed here a couple times.
Yeah, I know Trevor.
Trevor is one, and then Mike Fahey is the other, and then Ollie Iconic, who started in Texas but is now Massachusetts based, is part of the crew. And I helped them. They just kind of social media, but give them suggestions, kind of work with them. But like I'm the guy they kind of brought in. They've been working together, and now I'm just helping them out, doing what I can for some stage time and stuff.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cool.
Good
Nice, man.
trade.
Yeah.
So you said you're helping out with social media stuff. Are you? I mean, kind of. What is that your niche? I mean, do you know that shit frontwards and backwards? Because we definitely need help doing that too.
Yeah. By the way,
like, do you know how to use TikTok, for fuck's sake?
TikTok is an interesting thing. I'm on TikTok, and I've had a couple things do like just randomly, but no, like I just, we'll post on Facebook, promote the shows in different groups, like, especially because we're traveling, we're part of a bunch of different events, group chats for this town or this city and that stuff. And trying to figure different ways to just get people to know about the shows and stuff. Nice. But and there's structure, like, they'll let me, they mainly handle stuff, but they're kind of like letting me learn along the way too, which is very nice.
Nice, good. And you get stage time.
Yeah, and I get stage, which is huge.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
how long you been with them?
I think I kind of hopped on like December-ish with them.
Oh, okay.
So it not very long, but they've been together longer and stuff like that. So
yeah, I recognize those names. I feel like I've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Seen those guys around.
Yeah, they've been around. Like I believe they've all been around for a few years now. But
nice.
I don't know. They've probably worked with a bunch of people. You know how it is. People shuffle around.
It's ever changing, and for the most part, everyone's independently contracting their work out there, trying to be a comedian on their own, and make it on their own. But it is helpful. We have this. Leonard and I have this podcast. We have the River Comics, production that we do, and it's just more fun to do it with friends, and to kind of spread the workouts in many hands. What's this?
Make light work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tough to do, but you can't. It's not something like you can do. Like you can do a lot of stuff by yourself, but if you want the support of the other people who are trying to do this too, and
even if it's just to bounce ideas off of somebody and be able to say, what do you think of this? And someone, or you're getting upset about something, and then someone's like, whoa, calm down, it's not that big a deal, shit like that.
Yeah.
That's really helpful.
And it's definitely more fun. It's more fun to do.
No,
it.
for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because they're all hanging out after and stuff, and it's just like it makes it more of like, like you said, fun. It's tough if you have to set everything up on your own, code on your own, book these people you don't know, and then like each week it's going to be someone new. It's good to have a few people that,
unless you actually own your own venue. You have a bar and you're a guy that owns a bar, runs the bar, and does the open mic or does whatever the shows are in the back. Like then that's one thing. But like if you're just showing up places, it's nice to show up with friends and kind of attack it as a group. So
definitely,
that's cool. Do you like hosting? Do you like being a producer of comedy shows or?
Like I think it's for a little bit for me, like just to like I said, I think it's important to like give other people support other people. They support you. It makes it better if you're offering something up to the community, kind of like. So I want to definitely run some stuff like that. I like hosting. I do like hosting actually, and I'm trying to get better at it. But I don't know. Like I don't think I could ever be a full-time booker, like where they're just dealing with floods of messages
ridiculous.
And this guy hates you now because he didn't. But it's like, whew.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, there's a downside to booking comedy? Oh my goodness.
Or people just say like, "Oh, I can't be there." The show's starting in 10 minutes, bro. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, I did the double booked or the I'm sick, but then you see them that's somewhere else. All right,
That's
sick.
the beauty of social media right there. Like, I can't be there tonight. My cat died, and you're like, oh, nice set at the so and so.
Yeah,
Oh,
can't get away with it anymore.
Sorry, pal. We seen you. You're outed. Oh man.
Yeah. So are you doing any other goals for you? Like, have you done festivals or anything like that?
I'm starting to look into that now. Like now that I'm a little bit and I'm doing different rooms. So like I submitted to both the Portland, Maine Comedy Festival coming out. And then the New England's Funniest that they're running in Maine. And
the contest. Okay.
They give you that, like, this year they were doing if you submitted to the Portland, Maine, you're going to get the first impression. Like, you'll be in the first wave of people considered for the New England Funniest.
Okay. Yep.
And so I ended up getting in. I'm going to be doing that on June 30th, the New
doing
England Funniest. I don't know about the Portland, Maine yet. I think submissions are still running for that one.
Okay.
But I'll do New England Funniest. I submitted to a few others. Did not get in Rogue Island. I submitted to and stuff like that. But that's like, it's an interesting one.
I have to wonder about festivals if it's more like, obviously, funny people get in, but if it's more like like, you ever hear the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I wonder if festivals are kind of like that, where it's like, oh, I know so-and-so, and they're like, oh, cool, and they can vouch for you, that sort of thing.
Definitely. Like there's an aspect to that. And for sure, like, and look, I'm sure they're somewhat fair, but like,
but they must get tons
of
Boston Comedy Festival must get thousands.
Oh yeah,
of submissions.
It's got to be insane.
That is a tough one.
How can you possibly go through that many videos and that many emails and not pick out people that you actually have worked with or know?
After a while,
I'm not speaking disparagingly about anyone who runs a festival, but. Like, it's just kind of nature of the beast sort of thing. So
it's you're just going to sort of look through and just see their name. And, like, it's going to be on your mind more. You're like, well, I've seen them do well. Like, and even though, like, if you're just watching someone's tape and you're like, well, this could have just been one room.
Sure,
for
sure.
Like, and, like, so if you know someone, it's easier to be like, well, I've seen them do well in 5 or 6 rooms.
Right.
So there's that. And that is definitely going to be tough. But,
and that's not to discourage anyone from submitting to festivals and such, but at the same time.
It's similar. It's similar with that's when we're booking our normal shows. I mean, not festivals, but booking these rooms. When I get people to submit and I see a name that I recognize, I go like, oh yeah, that's a known good thing to put on one of our shows. So it's easy to click that name and try to confirm that person because I know that they're going to do well already. They've already done well.
And like, it's weird because it's almost like for for small rooms and festivals, they kind of merge because like festivals, obviously, you're going to bring in a bunch of people who are just interested in the big name, and someone gets up there and bombs, people are going to just be like, whoa, like, why is this guy, like, they don't know enough about comedy to be like, just like regular fans to be like defending them. They're just going to be like, why is this guy in this festival, you know? So it's a reflection on them. But at the same thing with smaller rooms where it's like a bar show type thing, people will get up and walk out, or they'll get mad, or
Right.
they're from in town and you know who they are, and now they don't. You know, it can be sort of the same vibe.
It's a high wire act.
Yeah.
when it comes to producing good shows and giving equal time to everyone who is deserving of it. People work hard. People go out to all these open mics and spend a lot of their time and money out there and trying to become a better comedian. And you want to give them, that shot, or so to speak, if you have that ability to do it. So yeah, I've been submitting to festivals and getting rejection emails left and right. So it's been fun, but but at the same time, like eventually it's going to happen and it's going to be great. And then who knows what happens from there. I'll probably just come back here and do another set the week after.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
A nice credit this time.
It's a good credit. Yeah, exactly. We can put it on the poster.
New intro.
Yeah, exactly. The Omaha Comedy Festival. Whatever.
That's definitely one of the things I'm bad at, as you know, Nick.
Yeah.
But I don't submit for things. I don't ask for spots elsewhere. I need to try to travel and submit to things just to.
But then once you do, you have to go do it. Like, what's the furthest place you've ever traveled, Zach?
It's probably this one right here, honestly.
Well, like as like a vacation with the family or whatever.
Okay.
Like, have you been to the Caribbean, say, or?
I actually spent some time in Ecuador when I was 19. A few weeks there.
That's
on
really
a
cool.
Service type trip thing, but half vacation. So
how were the mics there?
The comedy was it wasn't relatable in my regard. But no, it was a fun place. It was cool. So that's the farthest I've traveled.
That's neat to have been to Ecuador, but. And now you get to say, like, I've been to Ecuador, but don't you hate having the fact that you had to go to Ecuador?
Yeah. Oh.
Like, that was a pain in the fucking balls, right?
Oh, yeah. They lost my or they put my bag on the wrong flight, and they didn't speak English, and I didn't speak, so I'm just kind of like trying to half broken English with this guy. Like, am I going to get my clothes?
Just want my clothes
and stuff. So it's
what a shitty 2 weeks losing your luggage and having to go to Ecuador, and the weather's terrible because it's hot and humid the whole year. But like obviously, again, not speaking ill about Ecuador, but
we do have Ecuadorian listeners.
Do we? Okay,
yeah,
that's funny.
Wow.
I don't know.
You're fucking up.
I was like, wow.
Like I've
maybe.
I've been to Ireland, and like I love talking about I've been to Ireland, but I hate having the fact that I had to go there to have been there. It just makes me insane. To like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything.
You don't like the plane ride, or
I don't want to travel on a plane for 6 hours. Okay. I don't want to be in a foreign country. I don't even want to go to New York or like.
Aren't you younger than I am?
I am. I know. I'm an old curmudgeon, but it's like I want to go to these places and see these places, but it just drives me crazy that you actually have to go there to do it.
I can't stand the heat when I travel.
I'm sorry, but it's just one of those things. We're getting off on a tangent about weird shit now, but like a comedy festival, like then you have to go to it. Like you get into there's an Alaskan one. What is it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like Alaska Before You Die Comedy Festival. I think it's happening. Swear to God, that's what it says.
Really?
And I submitted to that, and as I'm submitting, I'm like, do I really want to go to goddamn Alaska to do comedy?
They're like, thanks, Nick. You're our only submission. You're
exactly.
in.
How am I supposed to know? And you're headlining all these shows. I don't even want to fucking go there. I would love to go to Alaska. It sounds really neat.
It seems cool, but then you're just freezing going. You're like, I have no idea where I am. But.
Yeah, it's like I'm in Alaska. Like, I'm very far from home.
Wow. Okay.
Is that weird?
I might just start saying I won that festival, just because who's going to double check about Alaska?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no comedy in Alaska. What are you talking about? Actually, a guy I know, I performed with him here in Portland one time. He's from San Francisco. He got in to the Alaska Before He Died. And Chad Opitz is his name. He did well. And actually, his Facebook posts were like, it was just really cool and a lot of fun.
There was an audience?
There was an audience.
Okay.
Like, there's actually a scene. It's really cool. Which is
interesting.
The neat part about it is like all these different comedy scenes come together. And it's like a family. It's like this extended family of like, you can get to go to another place and be like, I'm a comedian too. And they're like, wow, really cool.
Cool.
Okay. At least that's my sense, my feeling of it. I could be completely wrong.
I would be interested to see what an Alaskan open mic is like for sure. But
yeah. You're too young to remember. What was that TV show that was set in Alaska, Leonard? Oh God.
Oh, with the.
Oh, shit.
Oh no! Now I'm thinking of Canada. That's different from Alaska.
That is different. But
yeah.
anyways, it was in like the intro to the show. Like there's a moose walking across somebody's yard or something like that in the intro to the show, and it's an old from the '90s.
Well,
Don't worry about it. Forget it.
In Maine already.
It was a sitcom of some sort.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to look that up. Boy, this is how the podcast goes, Zach. I don't know if you want to get into this or not. But
I know I've only done a few podcasts, but I don't have one myself. So
you will eventually.
Well, yeah. Come on.
It's just everyone's doing it now.
It's like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
What about you moving to LA or New York or something like that? Is that something that you're looking at in your future to try to broaden your horizons there?
I would definitely consider it. Like, if anywhere, I'd probably say New York for me, just because I like the idea of that scene, like kind of the history of just bouncing on the train to all these different places.
10 spots in a night, some silly thing like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah, open mics on Saturday nights. I did do like a bringer show out there at St. Mark's Comedy Club.
Okay, cool.
And it was a really cool place, kind of half bringer people and then half like just booked regulars around the club. And me and my friends went out there and just kind of made a trip of it. Okay. So I liked that vibe, but I would need to stay in Boston for a little bit or just in the area, just in develop and make sure I kind of understand how things work rather than going to that big city with all these legends and, everyone's got.
Yeah, can you imagine like I got a spot at the Cellar or whatever in New York City, and then like Seinfeld walks in and is like, no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Casey Crawford, right?
I do.
Yeah. He said to me one time that being in New York City, like. You're just as far away from the mics in New York City. Like if you're right there outside the door, you're still just as far away as you are if you're in Boston or Maine or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're not. If you're not in that scene, you're not somebody from that area. Then it's like you could be standing right there at the door, and they're not going to invite you in. And not that they're bad people, but like. It's just you're not part of that. You got to somehow get into that scene.
It's
and
competitive.
Work your way in. Exactly.
A lot of people and a lot of people do tons of performance stuff, the theater and stuff like that too. So they're just working all sorts, improv and whatnot. So
you see people that can sing and dance and play guitar and do all these different things and do stand up, and there's a lot of talent in those big cities.
Mm-hmm. So what are the things you want to do? Like how far do you want to go with comedy?
It's tough to say because you never know. You just don't. It's a wild industry for sure, but I want to be I really enjoy doing stand up and stand up first for me before anything else. And I would like to get to headlining and do some clubs and do some traveling if I could get out there. And it's very tough. You got to stick with it. I don't know where my life's going to be in a few years or whatever, but as long as I'm enjoying it and still in it, I want to be just moving up and get to the cool clubs, perform with some cool people, open for some cool people, hopefully, that kind of stuff.
Would you want to make a career of it?
If I could, yeah, if I could. And if that meant I had to do some other stuff on the side, I would. If I could
acting in a major blockbuster movie or something.
Yeah, that would be great. Wouldn't that?
Get that math class done.
Yeah, get the math class done. Yeah. Yeah, so because I work, one of my part-time jobs is in local TV.
Oh, cool.
So it's just access to, but they'll give me cameras and stuff, and I'll do side work for comedy shows or for other stuff, make them a little promo video or something like that. Okay. And just kind of cut some stuff together. So, whatever I can to swing it my way and do this as much as possible. That's the goal, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love it. All right, that's cool. All right. Sweet. We wish you nothing but the best. You're a funny kid, and we've enjoyed talking to you here today. So
thank you for having me on. It's been great. Like I said, I love coming up here. So I definitely want to make a habit of this.
Yeah, we're looking forward to a really good show tonight. Too bad this podcast won't be out for another month.
Come on, yeah.
That's Nick's little jab at me. I'm the one who actually edits.
Oh, you're it's tough. You gotta re-listen to yourself talk, and we all know how hard that is for to listen to our sets.
It's awful,
especially for
Oh, well, thank you very much, Zach. We wish you the best of luck with that beard. So we like to end the interview with a segment we call Curse to Darkness. So if you're not familiar, there's an idiom that goes, I'd rather light a candle than curse the darkness. So it means like I would do something about my problems instead of just complaining about them. But in opposition of that, I would like you to actually talk about something you want to complain about that you don't plan on doing anything about.
Okay. Well, I am glad you brought this up. I'm glad because it's not something that's on my mind generally, but on the way here, I would complain, and it's going to sound weird because it's typically the opposite, but I would complain about how people drive up here in Maine.
What?
I know
They're
it
all
sounds
from Massachusetts.
Wait a minute. Were you driving backwards all the way here?
I'll break it down to you like this. Like I have to drive to Boston a lot from one of my jobs, and you get so used to the crazy traffic, swerving, yelling, beeping, swearing, all of the craziness that it almost makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
That's what driving is. So I'm sitting here, we're all competitive. We're fighting, swerving, doing that stuff. And then I get up here and everyone's just, I mean, they're driving slow. They're enjoying their time. Like they're not in a rush. They're actually living in the moment. And it doesn't make sense to me from where I come from. So I'm like, let's get on. Stop looking at the sky. It'll be there when you get there. So that is nothing I can do about it. I don't even live here, but it's interesting. It's a bother to me.
I like having that other perspective of it.
Wow.
You know, and I like knowing too that every time I see a Massachusetts license plate, I am totally in my right mind to tell that person to just piss off.
No, we're the ones at fault. Definitely, we're doing it wrong. But once you're down there, it's just you. It's like anything else. You become used to it. And,
so when you drive, do you like communicate with your car, like moving a little bit to the left? That's your blinker per se. Like you don't actually.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. You got to nudge, like almost like hint or like if you're stuck in the left lane, a good move. Like the guy's going too slow, you just kind of go like to the left, like almost look out if there's anyone. They kind of get the sense of, oh, you want to get around them.
Yeah.
If they don't pick up on it, I'm like, you wouldn't survive out here in Boston, man. You wouldn't. I
think the saying from NASCAR is rubbing is racing. So that's how it works on 495 south and north.
Yes. You're just
Massachusetts.
grinding through the whatever nook and cranny you can. Like I've seen some ridiculous stuff, but that's my complaint.
Well, no, that's valid. I appreciate it, and we'll try to do better.
We'll try to be more assholes on the road. Sorry.
Yeah. Develop that masshole. Maybe I need to chill. We'll see.
That's all right. We'll have a drink and talk about it. Well, thank you, Zach, so much for coming out.
Thank you so much.
To us
thank you guys for having me on the podcast and the show. Looking forward to tonight.
So how do people find you? You have social medias or website or anything that you want to plug or anything like that?
Instagram, Zach Valencia 6, very simple. Twitter, Zach Valencia 7. I'm on all that stuff. So
there's like 4 or 5, 6 Zach Valencias out there going.
Yeah,
social media expert.
We got here first.
Zach Valencia.
Just keep it simple. Yeah. So if you want to check that out, that's up to you. But
it's your doom.
Just beware.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We'll have a great show tonight, which people will most likely know about because it's going to be famous.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good show, so we appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Zach Valencia, everyone. Yay. That was Zach Valencia, young comedian from Boston. Really, really happy to have him on the show. He's a fantastic guest.
I hope to God he finishes his college credits sooner rather than later. Because if he doesn't, he's never going to go back.
No, his parents will be mad at him. He's working on that beard also.
Ugh, that thing. Thanks for listening, guys. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. TikTok for the CTTP. I don't know if there is or there's not, but if there is, talk it. You can email us at comedythinktank@gmail.com. We got a website. We got a whole bunch of things going on, you guys. So reach out. Don't be afraid. We would love to hear from you. And thank you for listening.
Bye. I don't know.
No, that was the end.
Okay, bye.
Theme music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
Boston, Cambridge, MIT.
Yeah,
and
you
so
really
I
didn't
didn't
need
need, I didn't need a car.
Yeah. How did you get from Chicago to Boston?
A plane.
Spoiler alert.
There's that look again.
They had planes back then?
Yes.
All right, guys. Here's Zach Valencia.
Yay.
Yay. I don't know why you do that every time.
Do I do yay every time?
You pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I do it at the end.
The end.
Yeah, I do it at the end of the... Did I do it at the end of this interview?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Which is why I noticed it.
Damn it. Oh, okay. I sent it to you.
I listened to it and I was
Damn
like...
it. I'll stop. Boo. How about that?
No.
I'll edit my boo in.
I think if you could just do the fade up of the music and...
Well, sometimes I just edit out my voice at all.
Oh.
You could just say Zach Valencia, and it's like, boom. That's it. It just stops
That'd
right
be
there.
amazing.
Yeah. There's the look again.
We're having fun. We're having fun. All right, what's the outro?
Let me stop and restart.